Hello, all you audience out there watching. This is Javahexion Joranvexion, leader of SCWRM, also known as Jason Clark Lewis. Yes, I have the names of Lewis and Clark in there. I'm here to report that me and Sheree have finally evicted all insane Naughty Dog personnel from the building or recording booths here and there.
They will thankfully not be returning. We have security measures.
Meanwhile, me and Sheree also found where Dwibs and Pedro were tied up eventually and freed them too.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. We were taken to the Museum of Tolerance from South Park. We were constantly being called misogynistic and homophobes 24/7. It was horrible.
I don't know what was worse. Me being tied up, naked and crying, or being forced to watch Neil Druckmann go on his rants about how people were being mean to him.
Yeah.
You know what I've realized, guys? You remember how in Uncharted 4 we have what was the name of that pirate who Nathan Drake was looking up to?
Avery.
Yeah, Avery. You know how at first Avery seems like this cool guy who just wants to make this haven where people can truly be free, only to then find that tunnel with Avery's descent into madness, revealing that holy cow, the guy was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and killed people just to maintain his wealth here and there, which would eventually culminate in him and his good old partner shooting each other dead. That's kind of what this is like regarding Neil Druckmann here. Also, can I talk about... I just want to talk about this. Hey guys, we see Abby get knocked out, but to relieve the tension, let's all of a sudden have a flashback. In my opinion, one of the worst times possible.
For a second, I thought there was a deleted scene or something, and she's miraculously okay.
This is sort of the game's MO. Oh, something serious is about to happen? Well, better roll back a few years or so that then you'll have to wait to see what happens.
Jove, you see, you're not acknowledging the fact that the game just proved you wrong, how there's no favoritism. You see, Abby got taken out, didn't she?
Yes, by a whole sea of people, mind you. And yeah, so what? She got taken out. As Ellie has shown, even the most burly of people can be taken out if you get the drop on them right. But yeah, it's like Pedro said, the pacing is... Well, okay, yes.
Pacing in this game is horrible.
There's a good way to do this, but literally the game's MO is just as something exciting is about to occur, flashback. And mind you, we still have to wait for that flashback about what happened during that goddamn dance party.
This is actually one of the scenes that was actually among the leaks. So even before I played the game, I already knew this bit.
And Pedro showed this to me as well.
Yeah,
I think Jova was there too, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was. What we didn't know was the placement of it.
Yeah. I was actually.
Oh, how cute, Mel and Owen.
Yeah, so Mal has made 10 points and Owen made 9 points in the archery contest. So now Abby's gonna try her luck. Let's see.
Oh, look at that! A cute drawing of Alice, the dog that we murdered, Shiroi.
It's for the it serves as it's the game's way of tutorializing you on how the bow works, basically.
The bow is admittedly an interesting mechanic. I'll give it that.
Well, it works pretty much exactly like if you've played games like the modern Tomb Raider games by Crystal Dynamics, you already know how this works. Like it works exactly like you'd expect it to.
So why don't you tell the audience the virtues of the bow over the guns in this game?
Well, it's a good. Like we see with
long range.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. Like Ellie has a bow, and Abby has a crossbow, because like Abby always has to get the cooler weapons.
Yeah, basically the crossbow is a much better version of the bow and arrow, sure, right?
One of the much like in the first game, was one of the big advantages of the bow and the crossbow is that if you don't have a silencer on your handgun, it's an alternative way of silently killing a person. Sorry. So there's that.
Okay, I'll admit, if the game was trying to build up Abby as like someone who has all the advantages, for a neat climatic battle where Ellie has to go against someone who's like her but supposedly better to come out victorious, I'd have actually appreciated that. Like, It's always an interesting plot to see the protagonist going up against someone who's them, but better. Case in point, Spider-Man versus Venom in a lot of the comics and whatnot. Seeing as how Venom is essentially a bigger, badder Spider-Man who can cloak out the predecessor's spider sense. So Spider-Man has to think outside the box to defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been interesting if that's what they were building up to a Fabianelli. If only. Yay, you did it!
How you like me now?
How do you like her now, Jova?
I like you as much as Knack when he danced to that song.
Are you sad Mel finding out I was here?
No. She doesn't care.
So put me up on the board.
Well, look at the bright side, Shiro. At least Naughty Dog will take
Alright.
pre-Detroit Quantic Dream's place. Now we have now them to laugh at least. So there's
So
that.
I guess it's kind of implied that even back then Mel hated Abby.
That's the thing, Jova. Like even from a story standpoint, despite being even from a story standpoint, I still prefer. You can argue that this is a worse story, but personally, I still prefer the story over Detroit's, because Detroit's is, if you ask me, just as offensive, just for different reasons. Whereas Detroit is so boring to me. But this game, on the other hand, I find it a lot easier to make fun of than Detroit. Detroit is just painful.
It really comes to a matter of what you prefer in storytelling. Oh, how nice of him to clean away all the corpses.
Like, I think Detroit is far worse just because of the fact it completely shits on very serious historical events.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Okay.
Well, that's the thing, Shiro. I would argue they're both offensive in the same way, but for different reasons. Like you said, Detroit is incredibly offensive because of the historical stuff you just mentioned, and this game is also incredibly offensive for the horrible representation of minorities that it has.
Oh god, the minority representation. I almost forgot about that in this game.
See, I thought you were talking about the story as a whole, but when you bring that up, it's like, yeah, both are very offensive in those regards.
So it's like I said, they're both equally offensive, just for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. I would still say Detroit has an edge because it's pretty much the entire story, whereas here it's just the writer's ego tripping.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway,
it's intermittent here, you know.
So what exactly is the point of this flashback? You might want to. This is keep in mind. This is from 4 months earlier. You know, Jova, this is starting to sound horribly like Frank Miller wrote this. Basically, Shiroi in All-Star Batman and Robin, which is basically was an attempt to make a newcomer-friendly Batman and Robin book. Frank Miller, when he wrote that comic, he constantly jumps between 4 months, a month before, 10 minutes before. Like, it's so annoying and unnecessary, and it's stupid. Seriously, Joe, I'm not even kidding you. These constant back and forth, the time skips, remind me so much of Frank Miller's writing.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that. Oh boy, he found Joel's brother.
That's right.
So something?
You just came back right in time. Basically, this is a flashback from 4 months earlier, and Abby just found out where Tommy is, and she assumes that Joel can't be far behind. So this is right before they went to Jackson to kill Joel.
It's a lead. I gotta see it through.
But you know that even if he is there, and you do find him, you might not know where Joel is, right?
Don't worry, the stars are gonna align for her.
Did you tell the others?
Everyone's on board. Mel
Oh, peer pressure. Good job, Abby. Good job.
Basically,
Everybody already said they're coming with me. You're not going to skip out, are you, Owen? Peer pressure.
He can do what he wants.
Basically, against Isaac's wishes, Abby has assembled a little team to go and kill Joel.
Well, actually, Abby just told us that Isaac greenlit it. And to be fair, the game never offers any implication that she's lying, so I guess Isaac greenlit this one. Well, to be fair, Jova, when Isaac forbid her from looking for Owen, it was because they were attempting that attack on the Scar Island, but this was before that. So technically, I guess I can see Isaac allowing her as a reward for all of her hard work for the WLF in these 4 years, maybe.
What I bring up is the fact that Owen literally says Isaac's never going to allow it, but then she goes, he totally did allow it. Yeah, it's weird, considering what she gets in trouble for. I'm wondering if Owen. Okay, I always took it as that Owen was the one telling the truth, and Abby was just lying to peer pressure him into that.
Yeah.
You know what other game came out this year and did a much better job at adding a somewhat of an ambiguity to our to the characters we play as.
Ghost of
Resident Evil
Tsushima.
3?
No, well, I was going to say Persona 5 Royal.
Well, that too. But Persona 5 Royale is an enhanced version of a game from 2018.
I mean, there are
Okay,
a couple.
to be
There is
fair,
an added scene.
Okay,
Sure.
Okay,
There is an
to
added
be-
scene where basically the new character they introduce in the game, Kasubi, basically, she's not against the she's basically her spiel with the Phantom Thieves. She doesn't hate them or anything. She's just afraid that people will just end up using people like the Phantom Thieves as just safety nets all the time. I can't solve my own problems. I'll just have the Phantom Thieves or people like them do it for me.
But yeah, people might remember this cutscene as the 2017 trailer of The Last of Us Part 2. That's why I didn't include.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't
boy.
include. That's why I didn't include that trailer in Part 0, because that trailer is literally just this cutscene. So we're gonna see it anyway. So here
Might
it is.
as well talk about the controversy regarding that. Okay, so Naughty Dog had said that, Ellie and Joel were going to return. However, going off of the trailer shown in 2017, there was no way you'd probably trust them based off of it. We had all of a sudden these bunch of characters who weren't Ellie and Joel, who seemed to have nothing to do with Ellie and Joel, and lo and behold, that's kind of how it turns out to be. Not helped by, Naughty Dog insisting, oh, don't worry, there won't be that much a focus on violence. It'll all serve a story purpose and all that. Boy, did that backfire.
And now, everybody, the whole cartoonishly evil thing that we've been talking about when it comes to this cars, this is where it becomes the most obvious. So this particular Scar we're seeing here, she is trying to defect, and obviously that's a horrible offense. There you go, clip her wings. There you go, Dwebs. That's how evil they are. They're literally gonna break her arm using a hammer.
How...
You see, Dwebs, see how good it is that Abby is taking these guys down? See how evil they are? It's a good thing Abby's taking them out, isn't it? You see what I mean, Dwebs? They're trying to make these guys as evil as possible just so you'll root for Abby.
Wow, I love how that girl was able to fight despite having her arm literally hammered in.
This is exactly the same kind of thing David Cage did in Beyond Two Souls. How do I make people root for my main character? Simple, make everybody else an asshole.
And... Ow.
So there you go. This young Scar here just saved Abby's life. So interesting. So there you go. Remember how me and Jova were talking about two specific Scars that were not evil? Well, it's these two. Meet Lev, and Yara.
Again, how is Yara able to fight that well despite having her arms hammered in?
They're siblings. And they're trying to defect. They're trying to defect. Why are they defecting? You may ask. We're gonna talk about this later.
Because the what's the group's name?
Seraphites.
Seraphites.
However, the WLF call them Scars. Just call them Scars.
Okay.
You can call them Seraphites, but usually the WLFs call them Scars for short.
Let's just say that it's really going to bite the story in its rear end regarding, all the Scars are evil with why these two are leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a trailer cover. Again, Yara, how are you... Never mind. Literally, we saw her arms get hammered, and yet she's kind of... Okay, yeah, the left one is acting rather limp. But how she was able to even fight back? I mean, I guess maybe the adrenaline forced off some of the pain, but last I checked, getting your arms broken kind of led to, them not being able to function properly.
So yeah, they took away Abby's equipment, but it's okay. Abby's so fucking powerful that she can tackle them all down with just a hammer. So whatever. Hammer to the face.
Like that bit in Emperor's New Groove. I'll smash it with a hammer.
Do you like Abby yet? Do you?
I like her the same way I like my migraines.
What, they go away eventually?
So yeah, Shiroi.
You know what? Yeah.
So Shiroi, you have a lot to say about Lev in particular, if I remember correctly.
I will.
Yeah. So don't worry. Basically, everybody, we'll wait till it's relevant.
Well, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'll wait till, this stuff actually happens.
We have to move.
Again,
Where are you going? Out of these
look.
We gotta
Why is Yara this active considering how we literally just saw her getting tortured?
Again,
they're not supposed-
again, adrenaline. Maybe that's what they are. I'm guessing that's Neil's thinking. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I think here's the thing. If you wanted to have her be this active, maybe not have her get brutalized to that extent. I'd be complaining about this regardless of who the character is, unless that character has some special healing factor.
So yeah, the forces of don't just always follow Yara and Lev, otherwise you'll be killed by infected. So basically, just follow Yara. She has a torch, so she's easy to follow.
There's pretty much no reason to even go off the path anyway. You're only asking for trouble if you go into the dark. Okay.
Well, Jova, there is. Well, Jova, one of the most popular sayings from the first game is, "If you're lost in darkness, look for the light."
That was really stupid of Abby to try to, give a headlock to an infected.
But
Seriously, they could literally bite
Fight her
you.
off, yeah.
true, Shiroi, but Abby's incredibly powerful. She can tackle them before they even have a chance to.
She is
call
literally
bullshit, but
she is literally taking.
Shiroi, why are you so why are you so against strong female protagonists? I mean, come
I'm
on.
not, but it doesn't make sense.
Jill's a strong female protagonist in a zombie apocalypse sort of game. She is more pragmatic with this sort of stuff. She doesn't often do stuff that will blatantly get her bitten unless she is locked into combat with these things and has to push them away. And, that's kind of smarter here.
I love how
Okay,
Ellie has so much trouble taking care of these things, but Abby can fucking take them down.
For the record, Abby is literally
Come at me,
taking on
bros.
st- Abby is literally
Fight me IRL.
Abby is literally taking on stalkers, which are pretty much, just a level down. Well, they're the halfway point between runners and clickers. And as we saw when, earlier in the game, stalkers are not easy takedowns, mind you. They have a lot of the dexterity that kind of does define stalkers. Maybe not as much, but still, Abby should not be able to just easily, manhandle them the way she is.
But Jova, that just goes to show you how strong she is.
Come on, Lev.
Maybe the other character should have taken whatever the hell she took to get this physique.
Just gonna say, Resident Evil 7 did this better.
True.
Seriously, that old hillbilly guy is hilarious with how he
Yes.
literally punches out zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, you played that DLC too?
Yeah. No, I have Resident Evil 7. I love it.
Yeah.
I have all the Resident Evil games, Jova.
Again, here.
Remember, Job, I already called how I find that one infected we've talked about to be. No, this is our Resident Evil, Neil. I think you forgot which game you were making.
Oh, conveniently, someone who just happens to be wearing Abby's backpack attacks us.
Exactly. Well, to be fair, I don't mind this. It's an excuse for the player not to lose all that equipment he collected. I'm actually okay with that, just for the purpose of giving the player an excuse not to lose his equipment that he gathered over the course of the game. So
I love how Abby bothers to yell, "Hey, is that my backpack?" Like, okay, I get it. Player convenience and all. It's just I feel like there could have been a more organic way for that to happen, but that's more of a nitpick than anything.
When you don't have weapons and you're fighting a brute character, you have to be very careful.
Wow, this is the closest thing the game has to a proper boss battle. So far, anyway.
Sure. Basically, you have to try your best.
Oh!
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry, guys. My finger slipped again.
Oh no, Abby's
Pedro, you
dead.
need to get your finger checked. Man, this is
I
serious.
think so. You might have a point, but yeah, when you're fighting a brute melee style, you have to make good use of the dodge button. Pay close attention. The more you damage the enemies, the more they whack away of you. So pay close attention to the swings, and when you think they're done, then you can. There you go. Make good use of the dodging mechanic to make sure they don't kill you because they're brutes. Come on, Abby. So what's the point of all those muscles if you're not going to use them? Come on, Abby.
Like I said, this is admittedly somewhat. At this point in the game, this encounter is the closest thing the game has to a boss battle so far.
See,
Hey, no, man,
Jova?
it's-
Where's your favoritism now? See? Looks like Abby's not as strong as you thought.
Wow, she literally caved in that woman's face.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
to be
like-
fair, the woman was attacking her.
Yeah.
I know, but
Oh yeah, absolutely, but wow.
Okay.
I mean, in times like this, is either you or them.
Okay, got our gear back, we're good to go.
Abby's dealing with her inventory at the moment.
Mind you, the favoritism things still just stick here and there because, like I said, gameplay-wise, it feels like we've had more fun playing as Abby than as Ellie. And okay, maybe some people could say, oh, but if you prefer going for more of a stealthy approach, then Ellie's more the person to play it as. You still do have stealth segments with Abby, but maybe I would say that's fair enough. If, again, it weren't for the fact that Abby is just overall someone who's more fun, whereas Ellie feels like someone you play as for more of a challenge. Which doesn't necessarily mean that Ellie's the better one to play as here. Like, there's a difference between more challenging and more fun overall. Like, for example, Rey in Mighty Number 9 is more challenging, yes, but she's also pretty much more fun to play as than Beck. Because her versions of the power-ups work a lot better, and she actually has some melee combat skills, which Beck horribly lacks. So no, just because something is more challenging doesn't mean it's automatically better or worse. You know, speaking of Persona 5 dwibs, this game reminds me of the song Rivers in the Desert because it's us constantly going through the desert looking for that one sweet spot, that one good reward that we've been fighting for.
that song's good though. This is not.
Yes, that song is good, and bless Smash for including it. Managing the inventory.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said... So like
Yeah,
I said
exactly.
before, Dwibs and Shiroi, you know how the Seraphites have been hinted at being practically the evil incarnate of this world here? Like I said before, the presence of Yara and Lev is going to poke holes in that and is kind of going to show that maybe the writers didn't think things out properly. All makes sense in context.
Yeah, I know, man.
What a paradox this is, though. The character that's arguably more fun to play as is still more hated because of, well, arguably more the story. It's interesting how the story and gameplay kind of go against each other in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah.
And how certain people are using that to say that we just hate women in video games when no, people really like Ellie.
Yeah.
Sake.
Like, you know, Ellie was already popular in the first Last of Us game, so it's bullcrap that they're suggesting that we hate women more.
Nobody complained about playing as Ellie in the first game.
Yeah.
Or even the Left Behind DLC that had her as the primary focus. Like, I just don't understand. Like,
This is like if Nintendo tried to suggest that we hated women characters if somebody was mad that Bayonetta was added. Like, no, it's flipping Bayonetta. She's awesome.
same goes with Lara Croft.
Or hell, Min Min as well. Yeah,
And
no,
hell,
no.
even on the indie side, we have Madeline from Celeste, which sold very well, especially on the Switch. So I don't know, like,
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, that worst, the worst about Celeste is that apparently it had a pretty dodgy Japanese translation, but they fixed that later.
at first, yes, they did get an entirely new translation.
Yeah, they got 8-4 to do it. Basically, 8-4 are a studio based in Tokyo that are one of the masters at translation. Not only do they do Japanese to English, but sometimes they do the reverse, like how they did with Undertale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that one also took a while because there were so many puns in it that needed a huge localization.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like Abby, Lev, and Yara had to work together to try to get out of this mess.
Groovy. Actually, I wish I was watching Evil Dead instead.
I've actually seen Evil Dead well, not recently, but I've seen it not too long ago.
Oh, well, how'd you like it?
Well, it was fine. I mean, I'm guessing it's the later movies that have more of the more memorable moments.
Yeah.
I haven't seen 2 and 3 yet, though.
Have you ever seen the
Or
Netflix
the TV show for that matter.
Oh,
No. Nor the remake for that matter.
there's a remake?
Yeah. Apparently it was fine.
Who's in charge of it?
I know Sam Raimi was a producer, but I think the director was somebody else. Yeah. Fede Alvarez, aka a guy who was also known for making Don't Breathe, The Girl in the Spider's Web, and the upcoming Chaos Walking.
Interesting.
And he also directed an episode of the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series.
Lovely.
Alright, let's see. Alright, so basically now we're trapped in this house, so we have to try our best to leave. There we go.
Haunted house vibes, of course.
And look at that, Abby gets not 1, but 2 AI partners.
How neat.
How lovely.
Like I've said before, his AR partners, they're kind of fine, but lacking in
I mean, you
certain
have
ways.
to. I mean, it's a good job it's a Naughty Dog game at least. You don't have to keep going out of your way to make sure you don't get killed.
Oh god, yeah.
Alright, so I think this is the point where I'm going back.
Now what? Quite confident.
Oh yeah, this is the point where before the others come in, okay. Okay, so where to now? Well, let's take advantage of things and see if there's anything more we can loot. Nope. Come on, game. Thank you. Scissors. There you go.
Those will come in handy.
To make shivs, yeah. Alright, seems like we're good. We're good. Take that, window. And there we go. Got some explosives.
It's gonna take a lot of Flex Seal to fix this up.
That window was the glue holding the E.
Does that even exist in this post-apocalyptic world?
Obviously
Windows?
not, and that's why the apocalypse occurred.
Well, yeah,
Not enough
because
flex seal or flex tape. The world just didn't appreciate it,
Yeah.
and it had to
it
die.
was too late.
Although I don't think even a flex seal can fix this mess.
Probably would have needed a whole bunch of gaffers.
You know, Abby, you probably should keep Yara here as a guarantee for Lev to come back, since you technically don't know these people. Just saying.
Oh, don't you see, Pedro? Abby is such a trusting person.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Abby's so
Convenient for the narrative to show how a great guy she is.
a great guy.
Girl.
Okay.
Jova,
The term guy.
You see, Jova, this is exactly the problem. This is exactly what Neil was trying to fight. See how harmful you are.
Wow, okay, you've been spending too much time in his basement. Snap out of it.
You know, the term guy can be used
But
for
we were
either a
trapped in
man-
a museum.
You know, a lot of people forget that the term guy can be used for man or woman, right? Especially when used in the plural of, hey
Like
guys.
yeah.
Remember, Shiro, like was just said. Remember, Shiro, Neil trapped us in South Park's Museum of Intolerance. We were constantly being taught so he could teach us how to be tolerant. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, this game already has enough plot holes. There are only plot holes in our own story.
Wait, oh, did you see that line? Can't believe I trusted the scars. What could that be hinting at, I wonder?
Let's see.
You're camping, I see.
Basically, I'm trying to see if I can wait, because there's actually two shamblers that show up here.
Gee, the dodgy-looking people were in fact dodgy. You know, it reminds me of a bit at the end of Red Dwarf Series 6, where the gang encounter an evil version of themselves who hang around with evil dictators and you know, like, oh, that Gory. Yeah, we even hung out with Goering, even though he was a bit dodgy.
Well, Dwebs, that should show you.
Herman Goering is a bit dodgy.
Well, Dwebs, that should show you why you should root for Abby. And because look how much better, how much of a nicer person she is compared to these guys.
She is.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you put her in these sort of situations here. She's, she still does pretty crap stuff, which this does not atone it for.
Oh. Yeah, that's another thing. Abby can craft shotgun shells that burn enemies as well as doing the shotgun thing. That's how awesome she is, you see? She can literally make burning shotgun bullets. Don't ask me how that works.
Again, that's something that's very Resident Evil-esque.
Neil, you've been playing way too much Resident Evil.
Don't get me wrong, Resident Evil is
well,
a
since
great...
that goes down to the gameplay director as well.
Remember, Neil was the one calling all the shots.
Like I said, Dwebs, it's not so much that, it's more so the fact that, again, Last of Us is not Resident Evil. Last of Us is supposed to be a bit more grounded.
Okay, so...
There you go. Now Abby, of course, being the also wholesome Puritan that she is gonna carry Yara to safety.
In and out. Nice and steady.
You know, considering how crazy the scars were, how crazy would it have been if this whole thing was just a plan of theirs to try and get two of their own to infiltrate the WLF, and they had people actually willing to sacrifice their lives just to make it seem all that more cunning.
Try the other ones.
Wouldn't that be so subversive?
Any luck? No.
Come on, Lev.
Any luck?
There we go.
There we go. Also, love how Lev calls her Wolf.
Well, remember, that's what the scars call the WLF. Because the WLF, Wolf.
I love how they constantly speak in their code, though, even though they're kind of leaving the Stair fight, so...
Not to mention their propaganda posters that we saw during Ali's bit have used the wolf drawing as a motif, so...
Yeah. Still, though, why do these guys still speak in the Seraphite code overall? Like, of course, they
I
call
guess
the
it's just like a force of habit kind of thing. At least that's how I read it.
That's the thing, Shiroi. As we're gonna learn later, even if they've defected, they still believe in the goddess. That's part of the religion. They're one of those people who say, "Oh no, don't you see? The other Seraphites are misconstruing the goddess's writings and shit."
We'll get to that.
Wanna move it, okay?
Okay, I'm pretty sure it was outright broken, not just dislocated.
Oh,
Oh, well, apparently she can mend broken bones.
I'm not a specialist in how this works, so I'm gonna refrain from saying anything.
If it is broken, then.
Okay. When it's dislocated, yeah, you can push it back in theory. But if it's broken, well, I'm sorry, that thing needs time to heal.
That's the thing, Jova. Later on, according to Mel, we're gonna establish that it's more than that. Like the arm has been infected, and as a result, it has to be amputated.
Okay, now granted, Abby didn't know that, but how supposedly she's going to, mend it there is... Well, again, maybe just have it have been dislocated instead of outright broken and later
and
infected.
Abby's just leaving.
Well, to be fair, she already did everything she could for them.
I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean, what if zombies come in and eat them?
Not her problem.
Not to mention she has her own things
I
she needs
thought
to
she was
get to.
supposed to be the good, wholesome character we should.
True, but at the same time, she also has her own things that she needs to take care of. So
I mean, come on, guys. It would be so stupid if the narrative all of a sudden had Abby abandon her original goals just to help these two people out because she's so wholesome.
yeah, that would be stupid, now wouldn't it, Jova?
She's
Yeah.
Ah,
Dwibs, do the seasons change? That is the answer.
Well, actually, Job, around here, it doesn't feel like they do.
Yeah.
They still do, though. The point is, you are absolutely correct, Dwibs. Did you help out in the making of this game?
If I did, then well, I can't say I'd be great, but I'm pretty sure I'd try and make it better.
See you next time, folks.
See ya.